Do you remember the moment they made you feel like you were nothing? How their words and actions carved holes into your soul. They didn't just hurt you, they buried you alive in your own mind. But here's the truth they'll never understand. The more they pushed you down, the stronger the roots of your rage grew beneath the surface. And now, those roots have become an unshakable foundation. They thought they were breaking you, but what they didn't realize is that they were building something far more dangerous. They were creating the person who would one day rise above them. Stronger, sharper, and unstoppable. Hold on to that memory. Not to dwell in the pain, but to remember where you started. Because the fire they lit in you hasn't burned out. It's still there, waiting to consume everything that tried to hold you back. Let's be honest. Their words didn't just sting, they scarred you. They used phrases like, "You're not good enough. Why even bother trying? No one cares about you." These weren't just insults. They were weapons designed to cut deep and leave you questioning your worth. And the worst part? You believed them. You let their words define you. But it wasn't just the words. It was the way they looked at you with disdain, the way they dismissed your efforts, the way they laughed when you stumbled. Every time you reached out for understanding, you were met with indifference. Every time you tried to shine, they dimmed your light with their shadows. It felt like the world was against you. Like no matter how hard you tried, you could never be enough. And that's exactly what they wanted you to feel. You wore a mask. Smiling when you wanted to scream, laughing when you wanted to cry, pretending to be okay when you were anything but. Behind closed doors, the pain was unbearable. The thoughts in your head became louder than any noise around you. Maybe they're right. Maybe I am worthless. What's the point of trying? The nights were the hardest, alone with your thoughts, replaying every moment of rejection, every word of criticism. You tried to drown it out, but it was always there, whispering in your ear, reminding you of every failure. You felt like a ghost in your own life, invisible, unseen, unheard. The silent struggle wasn't just a phase. It was a battle you fought every single day. And though it left you weary, it also planted the seeds of resilience deep within you, waiting for the moment they would bloom. Then, one day, something inside you snapped, not in defeat, but in defiance. You looked in the mirror and saw the shell of a person you had become. The light in your eyes was gone, replaced by the weight of their cruelty. And in that moment, you made a decision. Enough was enough. You weren't going to let their words define you anymore. You weren't going to let their actions dictate your worth. You realized that the power they had over you wasn't theirs. It was yours. And you were done giving it away. The breaking point wasn't the end. It was the beginning. It was the moment you chose to rise, no matter how many times they tried to push you back down. Listen. This was the moment you took back control. You started to see the truth. Their opinions didn't matter. Their validation wasn't necessary. Your worth was never tied to their approval. For the first time, you saw yourself not through their eyes, but through your own. And what you saw was someone who had been through hell but was still standing. You realized that you were stronger than you ever knew. And that strength didn't come from them, it came from you. The turning point wasn't about revenge, it was about reclaiming your identity. It was about standing up and saying, "This is who I am, and I'm not changing for anyone." Listen, rebuilding yourself wasn't easy. It was a war. But you fought it one battle at a time. You started by letting go of the toxic people who dragged you down. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Cutting ties with those who only sought to harm you was the first step toward healing. You surrounded yourself with those who lifted you up, people who saw your worth even when you couldn't. People who reminded you that you deserved love, respect, and happiness. You learned to say no to the things that drained you and yes to the things that brought you joy. You stopped apologizing for putting yourself first And most importantly, you stopped seeking validation from others. You learned to validate yourself, to look in the mirror and say, I am enough. The fight to rebuild wasn't just about healing. It was about creating a life that was yours, and yours alone. They thought they were breaking you. But what they didn't realize is that they were building something far more powerful. Their words became the fuel for your fire. Their actions became the forge that shaped your armor. Their cruelty became the catalyst for your transformation. You are no longer the person they tried to destroy. You are the storm they can't outrun, the fire they can't extinguish. You are the monster they created, but one they can no longer control. You are the embodiment of strength forged in pain, resilience born from struggle, and determination fueled by defiance. They wanted you to be weak, but instead they made you invincible. Don't ever forget how worthless they made you feel, not because you still believe it, but because it reminds you of how far you've come. Let their cruelty be your motivation. Let it remind you every day that you survived, you fought, and you won. They tried to bury you, but they forgot. You are a seed. And now, you've grown into something unstoppable. So stand tall, speak loud, and never let anyone dim your light again. Because you've proven that you are more than they ever thought you could be. You are everything they're too afraid to become. That's all. I'm out. By the way, if you want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Until next time.